Three, two, one.
Welcome to Rubaroo with Varun Sethi. And today we have Arjun Sharma as our guest. Firstly, Arjun, I want to tell you कि आप freely होके बैठ जाओ. You are being very conscious, I think so.
No, I think I'm just.
So let me quickly introduce who is Arjun and how we met. So Arjun and me met in my last organization. जहाँ पे मुझे पता लगा कि we both are doing the somewhere same role. Our designation was same. And then I get to know, okay, Arjun is 2 years younger to me also. And then I was like, okay, इस बंदे ने पहले क्या पढ़ाई करके आया है, क्या करा है. And to be honest, we will discuss about कि अर्जुन ने अभी तक work कहाँ करा है, education कहाँ करी है, about his personality. And then we will go with the flow, as we know we do in the podcast. So starting with you, Arjun, I just wanted to know कि तुम्हारी upbringing कहाँ पे हुई, schooling कहाँ पे रही है, जैसे city wise, how was the culture around you, schooling, and how did you land up मतलब college में कोई career कैसे decide करा? As being a career counselor, I'm always excited to know कि जो career choose करा उसके पीछे क्या reason था? So if you can start with this. First of all, again, thank you for joining this.
I think thanks for having me. That's really cool what you're doing, and it takes a lot of guts to kind of start off your own podcast. That's really great. I think one thing that I can begin is where I started to study. Born and brought up in Delhi, of course. Originally from Himachal, my parents migrated to Delhi in order to get work, right kind of work, and of course, employment was the key factor. And then once I came into the picture, I started my education in a government school in Delhi. It was a great journey overall, because while there's a painted picture of a certain certain painted picture of the education system, I pretty much was able to explore and be part of a really great process back in the time. So government school, then I decided to pursue chemistry because I was really, really fond of science in general, and chemistry was something I really could imagine as somebody who's a visual learner and who loves reality of life, and chemistry and was something that I could relate to the most. So yeah, I did that in Delhi University when I took admission in Sri Venkateshwar College in 2018. Yes, so I was very young because I skipped LKG, UKG. Government schools don't have LKG, UKG. So luckily that's why I turned out to be pretty young when Varun mentioned I'm still younger to him. But yeah, that's why I skipped 2 classes and I was like, yeah.
I always remember how he used to flaunt कि मैं DU से पढ़ा हूँ Venkil से and you're from MIT.
It's better than your college. It is absolutely better than his college.
I agree to some extent, but again,
Yeah.
So coming to the point, कि you pursue chemistry honors. And what after this? What after the college? And I got to know that you have studied you have been to Teach for India fellowship.
Yes.
So how did this shift happen? मतलब how did you get to know कि ऐसा कुछ होता है fellowship या और because you studied from chemistry, तो उसके बाद from DU very good college, so you always have an option to pursue maybe masters or you get a good corporate job or in research. You all have that option. Then how come the shift of being in a fellowship and all?
So I'll just give you context, right? Coming from a very humble background, my priority was to sponsor my education. So during my journey, I started to work with whatever came my way. I started to work with Domino's back in the time, 2018 itself. I taught kids, I did tuitions and everything. But that was something I could do. It's very easy, right? But my keen priority was to do something which gets me money back in the time. So I started to learn marketing, design, Canva, and Photoshop, Adobe was something really new and exciting, despite studying chemistry, because chemistry wasn't getting me anywhere. So I started to do this. I got internships in very variety of places and great places to work. Started off Josh Talks. I interned there. There I met my first mentor, and he supported me and guided me. You can really do well in my in a career in marketing. I did freelancing in design for brands like P&G, Gillette. That was my biggest gig, and then I realized maybe I really am good with design, right? But this was one big part of my journey during the college. What changed and what motivated me to work around Teach for India and education sector is During college, I was part of National Service Scheme and NSS per se, and we were teaching kids, and the COVID happened, and one of the kids that I was really fond of died because of hunger, and that was the sort of life-changing moment for me, realizing that in India, after 100 years of almost close to 100 years of colonialism and everything that Britishers have done and independence, right? People still die of hunger, right? So that really struck me, and then I decided to join Teacher India to work something on ground. Because me being in marketing, me being core in corporate, wouldn't really solve that problem, but only kind of fuel the problem. So, and yeah, I mean, Teacher India began from one simple problem that no child should suffer, and yeah, I think that's the key anchor to start my Teacher India.
So you have been to government schools also for teaching, as well as you have also studied USF also.
Yes.
So how was the shift you have seen in general? Is there, apart from, like, for example, if we keep aside Teach for India, तो क्या स्कूल के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में कुछ चेंज आया, या फिर स्कूल के स्टूडेंट्स में, अगर आप नॉर्मली वैसे देखें तो गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में क्या आपको कुछ शिफ्ट देखने को मिला क्या फ्रॉम योर टाइम टू नाउ व्हेन यू वर टीचिंग देयर?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember I used to study in a school back in, I think I'm not allowed to say government's name, but political party's name, but back in my time when there were certain parties, certain things were happening, the key focus was on skilling. While over the period of time, the parameter was also changing, and it was more like, every child should have everything more accessible. In my time, like, considering Delhi being the capital, we did not even have like a place to sit. Our school had this big hole. At my classroom, we had a big hole in the on the roof, and every time it's raining, it's cold, winters and everything, we used to suffer. But when I taught, I think there was there's a massive change in terms of infrastructure. However, I think education is not about just infrastructure, it's all about the integrity of the integrity of in that infrastructure. So how do we bring it back was my challenge. Other than that, I think infrastructure wise, I think I was placed well, but I was teaching in Sangam Vihar, which is one of the most volatile communities in Delhi. And I remember we did not even have roads to the school. तो हम लोग ऐसे and संगम में पानी भर जाता है यहाँ तक, तो हम लोग पहले दिन तो डूब ही गए थे, बट गटर में भी गिर चुके हैं. So I have seen everything.
So there were different struggles at different point of time. So वहाँ पे फिर टीच फॉर इंडिया के बाद कैसे लगा? आई मीन कि आई गेस दैट वाज योर एंट्री पॉइंट टू डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर और अच्छी वो बैकग्राउंड. सो व्हाट इज योर डेफिनेशन ऑफ, यू कैन से, एनजीओ और डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर और इन जनरल वहाँ से कुछ शेप होना स्टार्ट हुई या क्या? बिकॉज जब मैं बात करता हूँ अपने बाकी लोगों से भी, तो हमारे आसपास के लोग समझते हैं अच्छा एनजीओ या सोशल वर्क मतलब पैसे, कपड़ा, कुछ डोनेट करना, जो नॉर्मल लेमन लोगों की अंडरस्टैंडिंग है. बट एज वी आर फ्रॉम द सोशल सेक्टर, सो वी नो देयर आर डिफरेंट थिंग्स वेयर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस आर वर्किंग ऑन. So how was the shift from your definition of development sector or NGO or whatever space we call this?
And absolutely, yeah. Because, see, to give you a little context, during my schooling, I was also part of an NGO, a library NGO, where I started to learn reading. That was my first space where I started to read other books than my curriculum, surprisingly. But that was a great way to start learning. And I understood my journey changed because of education and the quality of education, right? I believe that NGOs, that the definition I took was, how do we make it sustainable, scalable, and more, systemic. So like, this is what I understood, that NGOs are not anymore all about, hey, I'm gonna pay you this much, you donate, and that's all. Donation, in my opinion, is really not gonna work out in the long term. It's the policies, it's the publications, it's the programs that are gonna support India's future towards Viksit Bharat or whatever we call to aim, certain way. But other than that, I understood that for me, in social sector, it is extremely important to have a agenda, a vision to begin with. And I realized that education is going to be my core objective to start off with. So yes, I think that's what I realized during Teach for India, that I really want to work for the social sector, specifically in an area where people understand what it really means to have a systemic approach to a problem solving. Yeah.
एंड अगर जैसे यू ऑल्सो शेयर, तो मैंने जब अपना स्टार्टिंग हुई मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हेन आई वेंट टू ISDM ऑल्सो स्टडिंग, देन आई अंडरस्टैंड वाई एंड हाउ वैल्यूज़ प्ले एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन योर लाइफ. तो वहाँ से मुझे पहले हम वैल्यूज़ की बात स्कूल में हमें सिखाता था कि आपको ये वैल्यूज़ के लिए आप स्टैंड करते हो, ये होना चाहिए. बट अभी भी जब मैं बाकी लोगों से बात करता हूँ जो नॉर्मल मेरे फ्रेंड्स वगैरह, तो हम लोगों ने बस वैल्यूज़ एक वर्ड सुना है. तो वैल्यूज़ आई नो राइट नाउ कि वैल्यूज़ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करते हैं, बट यू एक्चुअली स्टैंड फॉर एंड व्हाट डू यू वांट टू डू. तो एनी कोर वैल्यूज़ विच यू स्टैंड फॉर, एनी वन और टू वैल्यूज़ विच यू थिंक is important for you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to reflect on also reflect on your journey as well, right? So in Teach for India, we do this thing called personal theory of change, a theory of change, whatever you call it. It's identifying the values, skills, and passion that you want to work towards. Back in the time when we did the exercise, my values were transparency, accountability, or ownership, you can call it, and the third was discipline. Because I was very disciplined and I really admire, let's say, discipline in my work, or let's say whatever I do. And yes, transparency in terms of ensuring that whatever I do, I'm transparent to myself and the people around me, because that's what social sector should and must have.
Right. So when you say about discipline, which is good, I know as a person you always prioritize your work and everything, but मुझे अभी वो सीन याद है कि 10 बजे का हमारा टाइम होता था पंचिन का, and Arjun just kept running with the juice in one of his hand, and कुछ नहीं देखना, सामने गाड़ी आ रही है, कुछ आ रहा है, जस्ट बस 9:59 पे पंच इन करना.
See, that while I call it discipline, I also call it do not do it again, because but I think I agree. I think that also added a lot of fun in my life, to struggle to kind of add that discipline, whether it's gym or life in general. But yeah, fun.
So going ahead, after Teach for India, like you have the choice again to be in a school associated with the school, and then you choose to work in which domain. अभी I know कि what you love to do, because marketing मुझे पता है, एक marketing एक चीज़ है, communications हो गया उसके around, but उसके अलावा भी is there anything जो अभी throughout your journey after Teach for India, how was your journey till now, उसमें किस किस roles के साथ you were associated with, if you can just tell us about your work, so that will
Sure. So I'll tell you in two pathways. One is what I did for work, one what I did for myself. Right? One, what I did for my work is I joined Lenda and India as a senior associate in order to complement their existing program with communication that I hold, right? Ensuring that they have certain design in places, structure in places, and that is being communicated to the state teams, because Lenda and India essentially works for public policy integration in the mostly implementation programs. This is what I did for the job per se. What I was doing beside that is starting my own venture called the Yellow Desk, which is providing integrated sustainable solutions, digital solutions, specifically like design, communication strategy, branding, and video editing, and things like that, and social media, of course, to social sector organization, and specifically non-profits. Why I came up with this idea? I was teaching my students how to design, how to do branding, marketing, because my students were really, really good at things and catching up on the digital media, and this is like 21st century skills, right? And I was teaching in Teach for India, so might as well, really leverage these kids to help me go beyond, and also help them go beyond their existential pathways. So providing that opportunity was just to ensure that they get to learn and intern with other organization. Now we have more than 50 plus clients and a team of 12 kids. I call them kids even now, but like they are adults and they are individuals doing really well. Some of them doing brand strategy workshops at the age of 18, 19 per se. So that's the kind of involvement they have been putting in. And and on the other pathway, this still continues, the Yellow Desk after Teach for India, and the job wise I shifted to Udyam Learning Foundation after Lenda and India, where in Udyam we specifically work for bringing entrepreneur mindset into the students. In order to do that, we work with the state governments with the curriculum and other sort of product integration into the system. So that's how I was also working in their marketing and communications channel.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I also remember we went to different places to record the internship sites, how students are working. So Udyam, maybe you work with the students, record their estimates, you know. So any one or two story which you would like to share, which was very near to wow, कि while you were also recording it, you got emotional or like कि यहाँ पे impact दिख रहा है मुझे कि any one or two story which is in your mind कि यार वो जब मैंने record किया था कि यार that was something exceptional, कुछ भी ऐसा ground पे जो चीज़ें, because we all are working to create an impact in the society. तो कहीं पे you feel so कि यार कुछ नहीं हो रहा, क्योंकि बहुत टाइम लगता है impact को create होने में. तो कुछ ऐसी कोई स्टोरी ग्राउंड से जब बताना चाहते हो कि यार पहले तो कुछ नहीं हो रहा था, ये कुछ हुआ, तो वो कैसा दिखा while you are recording it, anything which you want to share?
There are a lot of stories, but one is really close to me is I don't remember the name and I apologize for that, but I was making documentaries last year and I met this child who's mentally challenged, if I may say, and he was in 10th grade and he was just made to sit in 10th grade, so he just kind of learn a few things or two. He was not able to cope up, of course, or maybe he's in 9th because he was not able to graduate from 9th, I remember. So this happened. I met that child and somebody told him that he's also part of Udyam Shiksha's program in Punjab that is called Business Blasters, where these kids are given certain amount of money to prototype their idea and do it. And that's where I realized, एक बार देख कैमरा ऑन है क्या, बस यहाँ पे बंद हो गया. Okay. So when I met the child, I realized that he's very talented. So he got us papad, and he made papad at home with the raw materials, and he was selling papad in school. So out of those 2,000, he only spent 500, and he made 4,000 in sales. Wow. So it's not about being mentally challenged or being challenged in any capacity. It's about having the passion to do something that you really enjoy. And that kid started to cry when somebody told him, some from my team, one of my directors, he asked that, how do you feel about it? And he got really emotional. And what more, I think what was the most emotional part of it was actually teacher crying. So she was really, really proud of that child. So she started to cry, and it was really, really warm moment for us to realize that life does not begin with education, just education. It actually nurtures with education. So I think, and education is not limited to your curriculum or anything. So I think that was the most emotional and, like, let's say, one of the most beautiful stories I've come across. It was Roped in Punjab. So we were shooting there. Very beautiful place.
ग्राउंड पे जब चीज़ें दिखती है हमें तब थोड़ा रियलाइज होता है कि कहाँ है, बिकॉज वाइल लिविंग इन अ सिटी, इवन व्हेन आई गो टू टायर 2 और टायर 3 cities, then it's like, oh, this is also a part where people are still struggling. And अभी मैंने इनफैक्ट होमबाउंड मूवी देखी because of your suggestion.
Yes, Homebound. Oh my God, it's so cool. I have cried in that movie so many times I forgot. But
this actually depicts the reality.
It's so real. It is so real. And see, when I look for tier 2, tier 3 cities, I'm not looking down. What I'm trying to understand is that's the reality. Yes. The caste-based violence in India and the so many policies that are flawed have led to so many challenges to people in their lives that we may never end up talking about. But the solution is to start somewhere from and at least talk about these challenges.
That's true. We should actually talk and solution ना भी निकाल सके, actually एक होना चाहिए एक mindset कि अच्छा this is also happening around us. Absolutely. Because we are so lucky to live in such a place where we have the privilege of so many other things, be it food, shelter or clothes, the basic things which we say from the beginning.
The air you breathe right now, right? I mean, AQI is no surprise to us. And think about people, and as I mentioned, like hunger, poverty, air, water, everything is just...
Awareness is not there.
Awareness is not there. You can't sit on your sofa and just be like, I don't give a shit because I'm paying the bills and everything is sorted. A Blinkit is not going to bring back air or the quality of life that you should have. So, yeah.
So yeah, apart from this, okay, moving ahead. So I just wanted to know, like you have worked in a specific domain. So if given a chance to Arjun to work in any other domain apart from this marketing, communication, other, what will you choose? Be it in the social sector or corporate or as an artist or anywhere.
I always, so I have two options. Because I keep thinking about it. One is public policy. And I'm working currently towards public policy. I will be joining Punjab Good Governance program as a fellow, and that's one of the ways that I will be working on. I've recently also completed my course on public policy, and I'm really keen on learning, how policies build a nation's future actually, and changes mindsets of people eventually. It's a long, tearful, and steady, not so steady process. Second is make films. I really want to make like a documentaries and films where I really, maybe next homebound anytime soon if I get an opportunity.
Nice. So yeah, so ये हो गया करियर वाइज भी जब हमने बात करी कि मैं पब्लिक पॉलिसी तो आपने जैसे बात करी यू विल बी जॉइनिंग द फेलोशिप और गवर्नेंस तो कैन यू प्लीज टेल द ऑडियंस अबाउट इट कि व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इट दिस रिलेटेड टू पब्लिक पॉलिसी एंड हाउ इफ समवन वांट्स टू जॉइन हाउ कैन आल्सो जॉइन दिस.
Awesome, I think fair. So most of the states, one I know is of course Punjab, and the other is also Haryana, by the way. CMGGA, and
yes.
there are a lot of scholarships, LAM fellowship, by the way, fellowships and are there where you work directly with the government bodies in order to implement, integrate, and strategize on public policy. So let's say currently, one of the policies that Punjab is working on, mohalla clinics or pinned clinics per se, or like it's a toned down version of mohalla clinics, and a lot of other things, right? So policies really shape a nation and a state. So in order to do that, you need the right kind of people who are willing to get on ground and do the things that are required. So yes, that's how I began my journey. I will be starting off as a Punjab Good Governance Fellow, but these are a lot of opportunities are there, so you can maybe chat GPT it, Google it. But yes, one is CMGGA, one is Punjab, and then LAMP is of course there, so you can find these opportunities and work with government directly in order to start off, or maybe Gandhi Fellowship. These kind of opportunities really give you an idea what happens on the ground from policy to the end of the pipeline.
I think our next podcast can be around when you are experience of that fellowship. तो हम उस पर भी बात कर सकते हैं. अभी I will attach the link of the fellowship also in this.
Yes.
So you guys can also
Please
do and
apply.
reach out if you have any questions also. So apart from work and everything, if we just talk about Arjun as a person, so if you get a chance to live a life about doing whatever you want to do, there are no restrictions of money or anything. Like you mentioned, filmmaking can be one thing, but other than that, how would you like to live a life and where would you like to live? Be it right now you are living for so many years in Delhi. So if you get a chance to live anywhere, and how would Arjun live a life and what would you do? Even if you have the money, but still, if you have to work, what will you work on?
I think honestly, at this point in time, you need a good air. You need a place where it has good air, and likely, most likely for me it would be Himachal, or go back to Pahad, do something for the people that I couldn't for the longest time. One of my friends, shout out by the way, one of my friends, she's working on a project where she's helping students in the Tillu community across Dharamshala. So I also keep visiting them. It's been a very long time, but they're doing really good job. So maybe sort of like that, or maybe join them officially later in my stage. So maybe sort of like that. Definitely want to go back.
I also remember you saying that at some point of time you want to build your own school or something.
Yeah, something where you education is there, skilling is there, and kids are there, because I love working around them. It's so the energy is so good. It transcends into your life and makes it beautiful. I think
True. So Arjun, if at the end of this podcast, if I would like you to show, because you are at very young age and you are doing so many things in parallel to it, so what keeps you going, the message which you want to share to the audience? Because sometimes what happen is कि we always thought कि यार career में कहाँ जाना, we always get distracted कि शायद यहाँ पे बीट कल्चर, बीट मनी और बीट वर्क, देर आर सो मैनी थिंग्स विच मेक्स अस कंफ्यूज कि वट वी आर डूइंग इन लाइफ, वट वी शुड डू. वी गेट स्पेशली द एज आई गेस ऑफ between 20 to 30, it happens. A lot of questions are there in my mind. Should I switch the field? What should I do? So what keeps you going, whatever the work you are doing at such a young age? You are doing so many things. So any message for this?
So when you're saying young age, I'm 24 by the way. It's not that young either. It's fairly there. I'm getting there. But yeah, fairly young also. I think what keeps me going is my discipline. I really enjoy what I do. I never do things that I do not enjoy. I will never. That's a very bold decision I have taken. That if I don't like something, I don't like something, and I don't want to do it. With my discipline, I of course manage my work life with. I learned Krav Maga for 5 years, in fact, which is Israeli combat training, and all of that is because I really passionately derive myself with motivation of doing things that I want to do instead of waiting for an opportunity for them to happen in my life. So rather getting an opportunity than waiting for is my goal, and what derives it is my discipline. So I really cater and stick by with that discipline of my life. Yeah.
So yeah, discipline is something I guess which I think personally also I feel so it is something which we all need to work on.
Absolutely.
From doing the task on time and be serious about it.
You see army folks, right? And because I have so many army brats in my and folks in my family, I've seen them really kind of enjoying their lives, but also being really passionate about what they do. It could be an emotional driven passion, or it can be very maybe skill or opportunity driven passion, but there needs to be a passion. That's the most important part of it, I believe. Yeah.
Nice. So it was really great talking to. I remember कि हमारी podcast की बात शायद 1 साल से चल रही है, and finally the day is here, we are talking and recording it. So I wish you all the best for your next journey, and maybe उसके बाद भी we will also get a time to reconnect and reshare our thought via this podcast Rubaroo. So thank you audience for listening. Thank you Arjun for joining us today. फिर मिलेंगे अगले पॉडकास्ट में, तब तक के लिए थैंक यू, शुक्रिया.
Thank you.